Daniel Sports Centric, we go for a college football game preview and prediction on the 2024 Fiesta Bowl matchup between the Oregon Ducks and the Liberty Flames. Two teams that have had great seasons getting to this point. You got Oregon 11-2 overall. This is a team that has been incredible start to finish this season. One main problem, they haven't been able to beat Washington. Their two losses this season were to the Huskies, but otherwise, this was a dominant team on both sides throughout the season. They're taking on Liberty, 13-0 on this season, but this team is only ranked 23rd in the country. Main reason for that, they haven't played a very strong schedule. But one thing is for certain, this team is known for a brutal offense. We'll be going for a full game preview and prediction on this matchup here today. Let's get started with your team trends. Ducks lost to Washington in the Pac-12 title game, 31-34. And I mean, there was a reason why Oregon was such a heavy favorite heading into this matchup. They obviously played in Seattle back in mid-October. Washington won that game. And ever since then, the Ducks really became dominant, had a few really solid wins, and they were red hot heading into Las Vegas for the Pac-12 title game, and Washington still found a way to win. So for Oregon, 11-2 on the season, it's going to be a season of what could have been, I think, for the Ducks if they just could have beaten Washington. But still a really strong season for the Ducks, finding themselves in the New Year's Six. And Liberty on the other side beating New Mexico State 49-35. And honestly, that game was a perfect representation of the season for Liberty. This is a team that scores a lot of points, but their defense has been very vulnerable throughout the season. They're 13-0. They haven't beat a ranked team or even played a ranked team this season. So, I mean, for Liberty to be 13-0 is definitely impressive, but their strength of schedule just is not very high. But games be on Monday, the first in Glendale. Kickoff is 1 p.m. Eastern. Spread's going Oregon by 18 here, so the Ducks are a pretty heavy favorite, which when you consider that the Ducks pretty much have their entire team playing in this matchup, which is seemingly rare this bowl season, actually seeing an entire team playing in their bowl game and most of the key talent. But the Ducks are, I mean, you got Bo Nix, who's in this matchup, who's been incredible this season. Really could have won the Heisman, 4,100 yards, 40 touchdowns over 3 picks. Just an incredible quarterback. And so when you consider this Oregon offense, and they've got most of their talent in this matchup, they're taking on a Liberty team that's been pretty poor on defense overall. I mean, this is a Oregon team that could really thrive in this matchup, and it just makes sense to see the Ducks as such a heavy favorite. Over under 67.5. I wouldn't be surprised if this was a higher scoring shootout here. I mean, it's just a matter of if Liberty can keep it close. But the Flames should definitely be able to score some points in this one. This is a team that's really strong, especially in the backfield when you consider Quentin Cooley and obviously Caden Salter, who's had a great season at quarterback for the Flames. The FPI is going Ducks 90% here, which is, I think, the heaviest favorite I've seen in the FPI this bowl season, even more so than Georgia, Florida State. So that is something to keep in mind, bowl history. Ducks are 16-20 overall last season. They were in what would have been the Holiday Bowl against North Carolina, beat them 28-27. Lost their previous 2 games before that. Last time this team was in a New Year's Six bowl game would have been the 2020 season, also in the Fiesta Bowl where they took on Iowa State. But as for Liberty, 3-1 overall, not a very long bowl history for this Flames team. They were in the Boca Raton Bowl last season where they lost to Toledo. Last bowl win would have been the Lending Tree Bowl back in 2021 against Eastern Michigan. So this is far and away the highest level bowl game that the Liberty Flames have ever been in. Your stat comparison, Oregon is a complete team, 4th in points per game, 11th in points allowed, a strong team on both sides, especially on offense. That's really where this team shines most, but their defense has really been incredible throughout the season as well. 8th ranked rush defense in the country, 77th ranked pass defense, but obviously, I mean, you consider the amount of talented quarterbacks that are in the Pac-12. All of that for pretty much every Pac-12 team, the numbers of pass yards allowed have been pretty high for almost everyone. But this is a team that's especially strong against the run, which could be an issue for Liberty, knowing how strong of a team the Flames are in the backfield, as they are 5th in points per game, the top-ranked team in the country in rush yards a game. So that's obviously something to keep in mind. And this is the 90th ranked pass defense in the country. They're going up against the 2nd ranked passing game in the country in Oregon. You got Bo Nix, who's back, a really talented receiving core as well. It's going to be tough going for Liberty. And so for this offense, going to have to score a lot of points, I would imagine, in this matchup if you're Liberty. And if your defense can have even a slightly good game and be able to at least stop Bo Nix for a few drives, that's going to go a long way for Liberty, because for Oregon, they're going to have a lot of opportunities to score in this one. But your recent matchups, Ducks lost to Washington. You can just see how dominant this Ducks team was down the stretch, though. They beat Oregon State 31-7, beat Arizona State 49-13, beat USC 36-27, beat Cal 63-19. And if you look before that, I mean, they obviously had that loss to Washington, but otherwise, they beat Utah 35-6. Utah's a strong team, and this team made it look easy going on the road there. So, I mean, it was just Washington. It was their year, and they just found a way. But for the Ducks, it's just going to be a season of what could have been because of how dominant this team was otherwise. But for Liberty, beating Mexico State 49-35, allowed 20 to UTEP, 25 to UMass, 30 to Louisiana Tech. But this offense found a way in each of those games, scoring more than 38 in their last 5 games. If you look before that, it's actually been would be their past 7 games or 6 games where this team has scored more than 38. So this offense has really only gotten better this season, but the defense, I wouldn't say the same about them, as they have allowed a lot of points throughout this season. Your key points, Ducks are 11-2. Bo Nix is in this matchup, most of the key talent as well for the Ducks, which is honestly great to see. We really haven't seen a lot of that this bowl season. We've seen a lot of key talent just opt out of bowl games, and it seems like it's more than ever before. But for Oregon to have pretty much their full team in this matchup, most of their key talent, will definitely be fun to watch. But you got a brutal team on both sides here, especially the offense, and I would say Oregon plays into the hand pretty well in this matchup, given that Liberty isn't very strong against the pass. And you got the Ducks and Bo Nix, who are known for a brutal passing game. But for Liberty, got Caden Salter. This is offensively a really tough team, but the defense has shown to be vulnerable. You got Oregon, who's a complete team on both sides. Liberty, not so much. They've got a really strong offense, but their defense has been an issue. And I mean, for Liberty this season, they haven't played a lot of really good teams. This is far and away the toughest team they've played. I mean, they've played Mexico State, who was good this season. They've played Old Dominion was okay. Louisiana Tech was not very good. I mean, you look before that, Jacksonville State was halfway decent, and they did beat Mexico State twice. That's probably the best team that this team played this year, and they honestly weren't even that good. So, I mean, this is far and away the toughest test that Liberty has faced this year, so we'll see how they can respond to that and if they can still play to a high level against, obviously, a brutal team in the Ducks who could really almost beat anybody in the country. I really do believe that. But with that, let's get the prediction here for Oregon and Liberty coming up here in the Fiesta Bowl. In the end, I'm taking the Ducks here 45-31. I think that Oregon finds a way to win this game by a couple of touchdowns at least. I do think Liberty covers the 18 points. I don't think it's going to be as much of a blowout. I think Liberty's offense will still find a way to at least be competitive in this game. But in the end, this defense, I just don't see any way they can stop Oregon based on the talent they've played this season and how many points they've allowed. I mean, it's going to be tough for Liberty to stop Oregon. I really believe that. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. We have seen group of 5 teams in New Year's Six bowl games really come out and play really solid games. Like Tulane, literally that happened last season when they took on USC. Tulane found a way and beat the Trojans. But I will say, though, Tulane is a much different team. They are, I'd say, if you look at Tulane last season versus Liberty this year, Tulane was far and away a better team. But, I mean, this is a chance for Liberty to prove a lot of people wrong here as well, but I just don't think it happens in the end. I'm taking Ducks by a couple of touchdowns, taking the over as well. This should be a pretty high-scoring game, and the Ducks finding a way to win, but I do think Liberty covers the 18 points in the end. But with that, let me know your thoughts and comments below on this matchup, your score predictions, all of that. My name's Evan. This is All Sports Central. Stay tuned for more. We'll catch you on the next one.